Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and this is Zeeshan Sattar, and I'm here with the new course that has been combined by ICAP in the name of the Data Analytics and the FinTech. In the start, these two courses, Data Analytics and the FinTech, were two separate courses, and these remained the separate courses till September of 2024. And then September onward, these two courses, which were the separate courses, are merged by ICAP, and they have designed a new shrinked curriculum for data analytics and new shrinked curriculum for the FinTech, and they have combined the shrinked curriculums into a single testable HUC, and it is now known as Data Analytics and FinTech. The outline now contains about 60% portion of the data analytics side, and the 40% has been added from the FinTech. This course is a course of great value. ICAP have really gone for an outstanding effort to emerge those skills in the chartered accountants. If it would have not been compulsory, these could have not been the part of their professional life. मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूं कि ICAP ने इसको कंपल्जन से उनके कोर्स का हिस्सा और एग्जामिनेबल बना के सारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स पर, ये जो अब रिसेंट आएंगे उस लॉट पर कंपल्सरी कर दिया, तो उनकी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में the addition of analytics and FinTech would be really an amazing thing, and it will really give an outstanding output in a professional by the inclusion of these skills relating to IT and the artificial intelligence and the financial expertise, which is already in the students. So our outstanding outcome will be produced now. Financial expert minds and the digitally expert minds now will combine together, and they will emerge in the market with all new skills. So now the main areas which we need to focus in this specific course, by the way, a small introduction of myself, Zeeshan Sattar. I'm teaching CS since 27 years now, and 27 years with my students remained very good experience, and the students really proved outstanding, not only the outstanding, but very responsible. And the responsible students are the shining students as well, even till today. And the students were sitting in this class, and they're taking me live. They're also, a few of them are my students as well, and they have been the outstanding students in their past. So Zeeshan Sattar is the designer. Zeeshan Sattar is a web developer. Zeeshan Sattar is by profession, I am a designer of the web and a YouTuber and a social media expert as well. There is one side of my expertise other than the business side, which I am practicing since 25 years as well. So in 27 सालों में जो मेरे IT के साथ गुजरे और जो 25 years मेरे business के साथ गुजरे, so मैं उसको use करते हुए अपने students को आज भी कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि जो मैं पढ़ा सकता हूँ और जो मैं add up कर सकता हूँ उनकी life में वो जरूर करता रहा हूँ. This course was taught by another teacher previously in this college, but in this session, I'm taking it for the reason that my students feel more comfortable and were not feeling so comfortable with the teachers who were teaching here. So I've taken the step and I've come by myself in this course, and inshallah, I'm very optimistic that if students will perform good, and if they could understand, and if they could put on good questions on the teacher, I'm very optimistic for a very good result of data analytics and FinTech as well. So start karte hain ji. So 5 areas which are now the part of the course are: number 1, the financial modeling and financial modeling, forecasting, dashboard reporting using the Excel. So examiner has taken the Excel from the MS Word HOC, and they have added this part into the FinTech and the data analytics now to make you people more stronger for the use of Excel. And I will be going for the explanation a bit after as well. थोड़ी देर के बाद इसकी explanation पे भी चला जाऊंगा. So now, overall, 30% of the time is required to be spent on coaching of this specific area. So 25 hours out of 90 are required to be spent on minimum this specific area of financial modeling, forecasting, and dashboard reporting using MS Excel. And the weightage in exam will be about 20% in total. Number 2, the second thing is the Power BI. I will explain what is Power BI. Basically, it is business intelligence platform, but I will be explaining afterwards once I will come down to the detail of every specific section. So now it's Power BI for the data visualization and classification. 32 30 hours are required to be spent in coaching of this specific portion, and this is the highest value containing portion in your paper and paper of part 2 rather, which will be containing the MCQs. उस paper में जिसमें MCQs हैं, this portion will be containing the maximum part, and it's about 40% or the 40 marks or the 40% marks in the exam would relate to this specific portion B. Number 3 is when we reach in to the third one, it is the blockchain. Blockchain is the distributed ledgers technology. This distributed ledger technology, blockchain, contains or require us to spend 5 hours for its training, and about 10 marks maximum can be contributed in exam from this area. And then we reach at the Python. Python is one of the major areas. It is high-level open source programming language, and it is a high-level open source programming language is will be taught about, or ICAP wants us to teach you people this specific area for about 15 hours, and the total weightage in exam for this specific section will be about 20%. And at the last, the power automate for the robotic process automation, and 15 hours are required by us to be taught to our students, and the weightage will be about 20%. So if I go for the outer side weightage, this makes 110. So that means that any of these outer side weightages will be reduced by the examiner in the real exam. So he will turn it down or trim it down rather. So good word will be trimming down. So examiner will trim down any of the weightage to make this total 100 in your final examination, which will be in 2 parts. And I will be explaining examination a bit after, so that we would be known to what is the exam and how this will work and how the students have to prepare for it and how they will be passed by ICAP. Inshallah, usko bhi hum discuss karenge later on. So now, when we reach at the first part of this outline given by a revised outline given by ICAP, that is been named as the A2C course of the data analytics and the fintech applicable with effect from September 24 assessment. जब हम इस पे आते हैं जी, तो 5 areas, again I'm saying financial modeling, number 2 Power BI, blockchain, and then the Python, and then the Power Automate of the robotic process automation. So 5 areas has been classified by the examiner. The first area is the financial modeling, forecasting, dashboard reporting using MS Excel. What examiner want us in this specific area? So now one by one, I will be explaining it, and where the abbreviation will be used, I will be explaining and opening the abbreviations as well, so that you people could make one or some of the basics of some of the basic ideas that what examiner want us. Important चीज क्या है इन abbreviations को, इन सारी चीजों को जहाँ लिखी हुई है इनको समझना. Yes, that is very important और हम इसको समझेंगे, but important ये चीज है. What is written here? None is in P3. What do you mean by P3? P3 means the expert level. That means that examiner by himself wants us to be at the proficiency level moderate. So if we are at P3, that means the expert level knowledge is required. If we are on P1, basic level is required. And number 2 is the number 3 is the moderate level, that is represented by P2. So P2 level of the proficiency is required. So that means you people should not get worried about this thing that यार कितना time देंगे, यार कैसे इसको एक्सपर्टी लेंगे, इसकी हम कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि खुदा ना खासा एक्सपर्ट ना हो पाए और हम पेपर पास ना कर पाए. It is nothing like that. Examiner wants us to build what? It wants us to build a moderate level of the knowledge here. And the Python, जो कि सबसे ज्यादा वेटेज वाला पार्ट भी उसने ऊपर बनाया था, Python में he wants us to be at P1 even. If I could scroll it down, and I'm trying to scroll it down, look at this one, the Python and the Python introduction of Python and the Python libraries. So he is giving us the P1 here as well. So overall maximum level of the expertise students should work on and they should build up their knowledge is of P2 level, means we should be having a moderate level of understanding of every topic that we are going to discuss in the whole course. So there's nothing to get worried about. Number 1. The first thing here is the financial modeling. The first part of the course is the financial modeling, forecasting, and dashboard reporting using MS Excel. What we are going to study, the 6 things that we are going to study here. The first one is the use of database, date, lookup, users define VBA. So it is VBA, it is Visual Basic Application. It is a visual basic application for automated tasks. So users define visual basic application for automated tasks and conditional and the dynamic array functions. It is our first thing that we have to work on in this specific module. Number two, the use of data validation rules. Number three, the use of the analysis and the modeling tools. It is the pivot model. So it is the creation of the pivot table. I will be explaining the pivot table thereafter, but अभी थोड़ा सा बता दूं, जब उस पे जाऊंगा तो बहुत डिटेल से डिस्कस होगा. So basically, pivot model is our data summarization or summarizing tool. It is a data summarizing tool. So data summarizing tool जो है उसको हमने create करना सीखना है, and then it is preparation of the dashboard for the multiple tasks and make the financial models. When you talk about the financial models, what we are going to work on, we are going to work on the tracking of the data. We are going to work on the investments. We are going to work on the prediction of the profits here. Then we are going to work upon the budgeting. We are going to work upon the forecasting and the feasibility reports and stuff like that. This all will be done and discussed in making the financial models here at number 6. So the first module is about the financial modeling, forecasting, dashboard reporting using MS Excel, and 6 different concepts are required to be understood by the students. B, number 2, the second block B is known as Power BI. So Power BI is business intelligence platform. Business intelligence platform. So this requires us, number 1, the only one thing is, and that is use of the block explorers to analyze transactions, blocks, and NFTs. So what are the NFTs? It is important to be understood by you people. And then the second thing that we need to know here is the NFT. Basically, the course outline contains a word here, and that specific word that it contains here is ETL. It is ETL actually. So there is a bit problem here in this outline, because the outline that has been given to the teaching staff, that contains a word ETL. That contains a word ETL. Rather, I've skipped the B. I've come down. Here it is. I'm sorry. So I go back on it. So here it is. So I was thinking something and I came down on this one. So here is Business BI. So now here is what it is about the perform data extraction, transformation, and loading ETL. So now what is ETL? ETL is known as the extract, transform, and loading. It is extract, transform, and loading data using the Power Query in the Power BI. So now it is number 1, extract, number 2, transform, and number 3, loading data using the Power Query in the Power BI. Develop data insights using Power BI and perform data visualization techniques using Power BI. Although the portion of examination is very small in Business BI, but we have to perform 3 things, and inshallah we will be understanding, we will be studying, we will be performing things, and Power BI will be covered. So now number 3, the third block of the course, and the third portion of the course that we need to cover is the blockchain. And what is actually the blockchain? Blockchain is, my dears, known as distributed ledger technology. It is distributed ledger technology. Blockchain, distributed ledger technology. And if I talk about more strongly, I believe that it relates to something like, I believe, non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible tokens are to be discussed here. Those we will discuss here. Non-fungible tokens, यहाँ पे NFTs की होना भी चाहिए, and it is here, non-fungible tokens. So now we will study, we'll use block explorers to analyze transaction blocks and NFT. It is non-fungible tokens and the other information available for the blockchain. We will be covering only one thing here, and that is what of the P2 level. Reach at the module number 4. The fourth thing that has been added in the course, or including the course, is the Python for the data description and the diagnostics. So it is the diagnostics, data description, and through the Python. and we talk about this one, we should be known to what is Python and Python language kya hai. Basically, Python is a high level, Python basically is a high level open source programming language. It is a high level open source programming language. And this Python, basically, it is used for multiple things now. For example, this Python is used for the web development. Nowadays, Python is being used for the software development. The Python is being used for the data sciences. It has also been used for the automation work, automatic or the automation work transformation. So Python is used for language, is being used for the multiple tasks. Again, I repeat, it is being used for the web development, it is being used for the software development, it is being used for the data sciences, and it is even being used for the automation of the different functions being performed with the data. Okay, so now Python kya hai, and its libraries and the use of Python description, the statistical analysis for the financial accounting and the other business data, and the use of Python for the audit assurance and related services are very, very helpful for your overall performance, in your audit area and in the assurance area. This will be really very helpful to assess your internal controls and gathering the evidence and trying the calculation. Python will be really an outstanding tool for you people, for the chartered accountants, for their overall professional life. And the application of Python will be really very helpful to make the work smart. आपके काम को smart बनाने में बड़ा helpful होगा. So now, Python, again, the same block includes the application of the statistics tools for the prediction modeling using regression and the classification analysis. So now, statistical analysis. What is this prediction modeling? This prediction modeling is basically statistical analysis. It is statistical analysis of the data. Statistical analysis for the data, and the common use of this specific statistical analysis for the common data is used for the creation of future scenarios. Basically, prediction modeling is the statistical analysis of the data, and it is very commonly used for making the future scenarios. So that is one of the reasons this has been named as the prediction models or prediction modeling. And regression analysis, using regression analysis and the classification analysis as well. So now power automation is the fifth block that has been added in this specific course. And this power automate the power automation and the power automate for the robotic process automation. So I said the power automation, so the shortcut I said. So power automation or the power automate for the robotic process automation contains 3 blocks to be covered, or the 3 things to be covered in this 5th block. Good word would this one be. So use of the Microsoft Power Automate software, and then create, execute, share, manage, and monitor all the flows, and then the create flows with a condition and the multiple repeating loops and the approvals and the user inputs and the multiple actions can be performed in one go. So this is used for that specific effort or that specific task. So what I concluded here that overall 5 different blocks have been introduced by the examiner in this combined course by ICAP, and the course who was naming data management or the data analytics and the fintech now. So this specific course is now containing 5 blocks to be covered. The block A is about the financial modeling, and B is about the Power BI, and third one is the blockchain, and the Python is number 4, and the 5th block is the Power Automate for the robotic process automation. Overall 90 hours are required to be completed by a teacher. I'm telling you one thing. If we are going to work on the expert level achievement, believe me, one specific block 1A, one specific block Power BI, one specific block blockchain, one specific block Python, and one specific block of the Power Automate for the robotic process automation cannot be completed in 90 hours. Even one cannot be completed. So the hours and the P2 level itself is telling us that we need a moderate level of the knowledge so that we could perform, include, emerge, and evolve our work by the help of these technologies when we perform the professional life. So the overall weightage of the paper is 100%. So important is to be understood that how the paper will appear and how we need to attempt it and how we will do it. I'm going to open and share another slide in front of you. Here it is, the slide given by the ICAP now, and it is about how you will appear and how you will be assessed in exam. For the examination purpose, students will be evaluated in two parts, part number 1 and part number 2. The part number 1 will contain a home-based assignment, and this will be of 70% weightage, and you have to take 50% marks out of it. And then the second part is MCQ based assessment, and this contains 30% weightage. Again, you have to take 50% marks here. So you have to take 50% marks in each of them so that you could be at approximate 50% in your overall out of 100 numbers to pass this specific exam. So now, what happens in the home-based assignments? ICAP give you 2 assignments after your registration. 3 weeks it takes to reach to you. So ICAP issues 2 assignments to the students who register themselves for the data analytics and the fintech course. So now when they will register, ICAP will issue them 2 assignments, and these 2 assignments will reach to the students within 3 weeks of the registration, number 1. And number 2, students are required, once they get this specific assignments, they have to submit it back to ICAP within 2 more weeks. So if you will submit, if you have received the assignments on 15th of December, you are required to submit them back to ICAP by 29th of December, and this will be known as your task 1 completion, and you are done with it now. Number 2, once it is done, this will be assessed by the ICAP, and then you will be sitting in an exam of 90 minutes. In this specific exam, you will be given the multiple choice questions, and it will be monitored by the ICAP and the invigilators. And 1 week after the submission of assignment, this date will be given to you. Once you will be sitting in this assessment of MCQs for 90 minutes, approximately 50% questions जो होंगे ना जी, वो होम बेस्ड असाइनमेंट के अंदर से ही आएंगे. जो आपको टास्क 1 में असाइनमेंट्स मिली हैं, इस असाइनमेंट से 50% MCQs आएंगे. So you will be known to at least 50% of the paper that is going to appear in these 90 minutes in the part number 2. So इसका 50% आपको पहले से पता होएगा. For the reason because ये home based assignment के अंदर से निकल के आवेगा. Model assignments and example questions are available in the student secured area in the ICAP website. There will be 3 questions in the MCQs overall, and the passing criteria by the ICAP is that both assignment must be submitted by the deadlines. Both assignments must be submitted by the deadlines. And number 1, no assignment will be acceptable by the ICAP after once the deadline is over. Number 1. Number 2, the second thing is that at least 50% marks must be achieved in the MCQ based assignment that I've told you already. 50% marks must be taken by part 2 of the examination, means the MCQs, and overall 50% marks must be achieved across the parts. So baat wahin chali gayi. 50% required to be taken the home based assignment, 50% required to be taken by the MCQs, and in this way you will be given 50% marks and you will pass the exam, inshallah. So it is a brief introduction of the course that has been given to us in data analytics and the fintech. It's 5 blocks that we need to cover, and the ingredients in every specific block, and then how the paper will appear in 2 parts, how we have to attempt the parts, how much time will be available, and then how much % marks are required by the students to pass the exam. So it was the basic thing of this specific orientation class that we have discussed, along with what we discussed that in every specific block, what we are going to study in detail. All levels that we need to study will be in the moderate P2 level, that is known as the proficiency level P2 पे चाहिए, and किस चीज को हर ब्लॉक के अंदर कवर करना है उसको ही मैंने आपको समझाया है. सो हम अपने पहले मॉड्यूल फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग, फोरकास्टिंग एंड डैशबोर्ड रिपोर्टिंग यूजिंग MS Excel would be starting from the next class. Recording of every specific class will be available for every my dear student after almost 1 hour of the class. Repeat करें, 10 बार देखें, डाउनलोड करके पास रख लें, लेकिन शेयर नहीं करना किसी के साथ. खुद से पढ़ें. हर एक बच्चे को जो एनरोल्ड है उसको YouTube का लिंक मिलेगा ताकि आप उसको डाउनलोड करें. आप informed college, no privacy they are going to make on it. On my students, are very, very professional. I believe they will not spread this lecture. This lecture will be even. I will put a few lectures open on the YouTube for the overall general help of the student, because जो दाएं बाएं कॉलेजेस में एडमिशन लेके फंस जाते हैं और एग्जाम से एक महीना पहले फिर उसको चीखे मार रहे होते हैं, उनके लिए भी ये मटेरियल अवेलेबल हो. वी हैव नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल. कुछ लेक्चर्स को मैं ओपन जरूर रखूँ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ओरिएंटेशन को जरूर ओपन रखूंगा. तो आप सबसे मेरी गुजारिश है, यूट्यूब के लेक्चर्स आपके पास आएंगे. यूट्यूब के लेक्चर्स को जो आपके पास आएंगे मेरे पर्सनल चैनल से अपलोडेड होंगे. अगर तो आप उनको डाउनलोड करके अपने पास महफूज रख सकते हैं, पढ़ सकते हैं, रिवाइज कर सकते हैं, एग्जाम से पहले हेल्प करेंगे. मगर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं करना. यू हैव टू प्रूव दैट we are not only professionals, but you are students of Zeeshan. That's what you have to prove. So orientation class from my side is over. If you want to ask me any question, I would be very happy to give the answers to every query those my students are having. They're welcome for questions.